Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Peace, what's up, family? This is your brother, Mr. Holipsism. Here today to talk about something that I've been thinking about for a while. This is nothing that I haven't touched on before, but I was just thinking about this, and I've had conversations with people who I would classify as old school activists. And I've always had a question when it came to the whole marching and protesting thing. And the answer that I've usually gotten to the question that I've asked, and the question is, what is the point of the march? Like, when you do something as a tactic, it should be leading, a part of some overall strategy leading to what? And the answer that I've always gotten was, well, you march to bring attention to the issue. Okay. So someone in the black community gets killed by the police. You march to bring attention to the fact that the police are killing black people. Now let's look at the march itself. You rally thousands of people. You go to the city and get a permit so that you can march in a designated area, because marches today, there hasn't been a real protest and a real march since probably Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement. What you got right now is glorified parades, state sanctioned, city approved parades. Because when you go and you have to get a permit to march, that just lets you know that this Constitution and all of this, your rights and all this to do this and that is a bunch of bullshit. If you have the right to protest, then you don't need a permit from the city to protest. You just protest. You stop traffic, you do whatever you have to do, and that's it. But obviously we know that we're dealing with parades. So you get thousands of people, go to a designated area, march in a circle, usually not even in the vicinity of where you're supposed to be marching. Because I remember one time I went to a march that was supposed to be against City Hall, and it was a block down from City Hall, pointed away from City Hall, and the person on stage says, "Turn around and let City Hall knows what you think." And so everybody turns around and they start shouting at the building a block down. So you go through all of this process, you go through the march is all day, blah, 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 blah. More than likely, the local businesses in that area pick up business, because in the middle of your march, you're going to want something to eat. So you go to McDonald's, you go to delis, you go to whatever to get something to eat. So they benefit from your marching. But after that, what really happens? You brought attention. There were cameras there, and everybody got to see that, okay, this march is about the shooting of blah, 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 blah. All right, you brought attention to it. After you bring attention to the issue, then what? This is the part where the crickets come in. See, this is what I call, and this is a new term that I've created. It hasn't been used before, but I'm going to start using it now. It's called Hail Mary activism. Now, if anybody has watched his football, the definition of a Hail Mary is a very long, typically unsuccessful pass thrown into or near the end zone in a last-ditch desperate attempt to score late in the game as time runs out. That's why they call it a Hail Mary, because you throw it and you pray that somebody catches it on your team and maybe catches a touchdown. That's what old school activists engage in whenever we do marching, whenever we do protesting. It's Hail Mary activism. It's like you don't really have a plan. You don't have an end game. And like I said many times, I play chess. I've been playing chess recently. I wish I could say that I played chess growing up, but I didn't because I didn't really have anybody to play with. So I never really got into the game, but I'm getting into the game now. And I realized that in order to win this game, you got to have an overall strategy and plan. You can't just move pieces around and hope to win. Because the person who has a strategy and a plan will win. And like I said, there's 3 stages of chess. It's the opening, the mid game, and the end game. So, you know, if you don't really have an end game to anything that you're doing, then you're engaging in Hail Mary activism. You're just doing shit. You're like damn Joker. Remember what the Joker said in the Dark Knight? He said, I don't have a plan. I just do things. He's like, I'm like a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do if I caught one. And that's what I feel about old school activism, just activism in general. I think what caused me to have this, even do this video, was I watched on Netflix this series called Dear White People. I never saw the movie. I know that it was a movie initially. I didn't see it. But on the Netflix series, and I'm looking at this, and it was just so sad to me that if this is what represents the height of black intellectualism, it's no wonder that we're at the socioeconomic and political foot, under the foot of white people in this system. Because our issues are so social and personal. It's like, yeah, look, the police, if the police come and there's a confrontation, they're going to pick the black person and arrest him and kill him, but they won't do anything to the white person. Are we actually shocked by that? And by pointing that out, what do you expect to change with that? You know, it's like you're appealing to something that doesn't exist. And then hoping and praying that something changes because you appealed to it. See, certain things are fucked up. But when you know that they're fucked up and you know the reasons why they're fucked up, then what you should do, the logical conclusion, is to start doing things in your interest. Start saying fuck it to somebody else's interest and start operating and thinking in your own interest and your own future. Have your own plans, have your own agenda. Instead of constantly trying to appeal to a nature that they basically don't even have. You know, your injustice means nothing to the people in power or to the average white person who feels some attachment to this system because they are white and other white people run it. You know, they're just as dumb as we are to that extent because nobody gives a shit about poor white people. You know, every white boy who is poor in a trailer thinks that he's Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. You know, you think you benefit from this system simply because of the color of your skin. Oh, I'm white, so then therefore, no, you just as much a fucking dickhead as us trying to be a part of this system and trying to think that we can gain equality in it. But that's a trick that the people in power play. But to be honest with you, the reason why I point that out is not because I want to form some type of solidarity with white people. I mean, I really don't give a shit about that. I don't care about race relations in America. That's not my issue. My issue is, when are we going to gain some socioeconomic and political power? You know, when are we going to control the context of our reality? And like I said, for people that constantly misrepresent what my viewpoint is, I'm not against people establishing a socioeconomic and political context here in America. All I want is for us to define define properly what that is. And what that is a satellite nation, satellite community. And the only way you can have a satellite community or a satellite nation is just you have an actual base of operations and a nation. Then if you have a nation, a base of operations where you do your business where you can control the context of your reality and you don't have to worry about playing to somebody else's rule, you create your own rules, then you can have a satellite nation in America. A satellite nation in America is not that hard to get. But the problem is everybody wants to have the satellite nation. It's like you want to put the cart before the horse. You want to have the satellite nation before you have the actual nation. And that's ass backwards. People who tell you that it's not ass backwards are fucking morons and idiots. They think they're intelligent, but they're obviously blithering idiots and morons. You got to build something here first before you. No, you don't. Because if that's the case, why is it 400 fucking years and you haven't done it yet? So don't tell me you got to build something here first when we've been building here for the last 400 fucking years. Well, actually less than that. Because when did slavery end? When did chattel slavery end? When did the South lose? So that's the amount of time that we've had to build something here. And what have we done? Basically nothing, because like as Amos Wilson said, the purpose for black people being brought over to America was to be labor. And what's the main source of income for black people right now in 2018? Labor. So the fundamental relationship that existed from the very beginning in this country between you and white folks has not changed. So don't think that just because now you can have a job and be around and shit on the same toilet as white people, that means that your fundamental relationship with them has not changed. Has changed, because it hasn't. So the question becomes, are we going to continue to engage in Hail Mary activism? We're going to keep throwing up the football into the end zone and hoping and praying that one of our players catch it and we get a touchdown? Are we going to acknowledge that in order for us to get power anywhere on this globe, we have to first establish our base of operations? This seems like a no-brainer to me, and I've been having this talk and this discussion for years. And for some reason, people seem to think that me personally going to Africa solves that problem. So let me see if I got this straight. If I go to Africa, then automatically black folks in America have a nation because I'm there. See, this is why, like I said, people are disingenuous. They're engaging in distraction, stalling tactics, anything to keep us from dealing with the issues and the problems that we need to deal with. And we'll engage in all kinds of other bullshit rather than addressing the solution. So yeah, that's my take on this, what I call Hail Mary activism. And until we start thinking in terms of socioeconomic and political infrastructure, thinking in terms of controlling the context of our reality, and having a true understanding of what it means to have power here in America as a satellite nation, but by first establishing your base of operations somewhere else, then we're just going to keep rehashing the same old topics over and over and over again because niggas is trying to find something to talk about rather than coming up with a solution. And I think everybody who listens to these videos pretty much agrees with me. Anyway, have a good day, y'all. That's all I got to say on this, and I'll holler at you later. Peace.
It was war they wanted, and